The magistrate before whom Clavering appeared was suitably censorious, with reference to abuse of the open-handed hospitality of Faraway. He regretted that the penalty of deportation did not apply to the crime of which Clavering had been found guilty. He passed sentence. 6 months, he said happily. 6 months hard labor. But, your worship, said Clavering, this is my first offense. On this world, perhaps, replied the magistrate. Then, to the policeman, take him away. They took him away. Clavering sat on his cot in the bare cell. I'll have to make the best of it, he thought. 6 months is longer than I need to find the name of a reliable fence butt. I should be able to find out plenty more. When I leave here, I'll have all my contacts lined up. I'll know just how far I can go without getting deported. He stood up as the small shutter at the top of the door slammed open and took the tray of food that was passed into him. He looked at the soggy bread, the beans swimming in water gravy, the jug of water. He carried the tray to the cot, sat down and began to eat. He passed out the tray when the shutter opened again. He lay down on the cot. He slept. He slept surprisingly well. He was ready for his breakfast, although it was no more palatable than his supper had been when it was padded to him. When the door was unlocked, he joined a procession of shaven-headed figures in glaringly striped uniforms. The guards, he noted, were well armed and looked as though they would stand no nonsense. Sigurd? This was his third spell in jail, but his 2 previous experiences had been in establishments where the accent was on humanitarianism. The hard labor was something about which he had read in historical novels, but which he had thought no longer existed. It was stone-breaking, in the prison quasi-monotonous, back-breaking toil. Had they hoped to be able to engage in conversations with fellow inmates during the outdoor activity, but the noise of hammers crashing on rock and the vigilance of the guards made this almost impossible. The little, wizened man on his right did manage to ask, out of the corner of his mouth, "Are you a rimmer?" And Clavering managed a hasty negative reply, and that was all. The midday meal was eaten in the open bread, beans and some unidentifiable meat that was all fat and gristle, but there were no opportunities for conversation. The afternoon passed in monotonous toil. Clavering was glad when he was locked in a cell for the night. 6 months. 180 days. Do they work? A 7-day week. These damned guards must be recruited from a Trappist monastery, and they expect the rest of us to be Trappists, too. At this rate, I shall be no wiser when I come out than when I went in. Well, tomorrow, I'm going to talk whether they like it or not. After all, they can't shoot me or can they? The following day, his resolve was unshaken. He noticed that the little, wizened man was walking ahead of him in the procession. He said, in ordinary conversational tones. You, Shorty, are you a rimmer? The huge fist of the nearest guard drove, without warning, into his face. He staggered and fell. More intense than the pain was the feeling of consuming rage. He was on his feet again, with a cat-like agility, his own fists pounding into the bloated belly of the guard. Againe fell this time under a rain of blows from behind. He was sufficiently in control of himself to roll into a ball, protecting his face with his arms from the heavy boots. It seemed far too long a time before he lost consciousness. Gradually, he became aware of a gray ceiling. He became aware, too, of pain, a dull ache over his legs and arms, and most of his body, sharper pangs in his chest as he breathed. He turned his head so that the right side of his face lay on the pillow, groaning as the muscles of his neck protested. He could not, he discovered, see too well with his left eye. He saw a gray wall and the blurry figure of a man in convict stripes. "Welcome back, Clavering," said the man. "Who are you?" Clavering grunted with an effort. "I'm the doctor. Doctor and inmate, both. I'm too useful to them ever to be turned loose. Besides, I know too much. Here, drink this."